Hey there, folks. This is Faith from Mountain Mama Massage. We offer deep tissue, prenatal, and postpartum massage for all genders and generations in Boulder and Lafayette, Colorado. We also have an online program, Partner Massage Essentials for Pregnancy, where you can learn to massage your partner at home during pregnancy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's morning for me, and I'm sipping hot chai latte. Today in our audio blog, how to rest better with baby. This is part 1 in our What to Expect in the First Week After Birth series. We have a few more of these coming your way. This part 1 is really a new parents 101, welcoming your baby and prioritizing rest. If you are finding this on our YouTube channel, you can also find the link to the readable blog on our website. Let's dive in. You've birthed your baby. Now what? You did it. You birthed your baby or babies. How are you doing? Newborn care and the arrival of a new baby is overwhelming, beautiful, and intense all at once. Just know that we're here in your circle of support. As Mr. Roger wisely said, look for the helpers. There are always helpers. There are also countless books about babies, newborn care, and postnatal recovery. I myself could write an entire chapter book about just the first 6 days, or the sacred first 42 days. I'm also an Ayurvedic postpartum doula. Fitting this information into a single blog post is ambitious, but that's perfect because many parents are overambitious about their first week home with a baby. You might be envisioning a world of great, tiny bundle of joy arrives, I shower at the hospital, walk out in my pre-pregnancy jeans, looking ready for my newborn photos, and then friends and family visit to meet the baby while we sip tea in the living room. I am here to gently adjust that plan with a huge dose of compassion. The first 6 days, this is when we rest to recover postpartum. Whether you had a vaginal or cesarean birth, the first week with your baby is a time to focus on slowing down, resting, and getting to know your new family. As an Ayurvedic postpartum doula, I'd love it if every family could slow down, rest, and bond as a new family for the first 42 days, which is what we call the sacred window in Ayurveda. But the first 6 days are a really great starting point. If that's all that's available to you, start there. In this series, we're covering basic needs during your first week postpartum and potential challenges. And since new parents often wonder, am I doing this right? Remember that this is just one perspective. There are many valid approaches to early postpartum care. I do want to make a note for families with birth complications or extended hospital stays. And you can apply these principles whenever possible, but I would urge you to consider restarting, if you will, your first 6 days home. Restart that first 6 days clock once you and baby are home together. First things first, your postpartum body. This is a note. Don't bring your pre-pregnancy jeans to the hospital. Thanks to some really great authentic sharing online and projects like the 4th Trimester Body Project, we're becoming more familiar with real postpartum bodies. Bellies don't, quote unquote, bounce back right away. You birth a baby and placenta, but your belly remains somewhat large and firm after birth. So when you're packing for birth, pack your favorite pregnancy leggings and a nursing and maternity top for going home. I knew this as a longtime postpartum doula. When I gave birth, I knew I needed pregnancy pants to get home, but I really thought that my husband's oversized flannel shirt would suffice, and it was no match for my engorged breasts and still full belly. I squeezed into it to get home, but then I immediately changed back into pajamas. Let's talk about a basic timeline after giving birth. If you gave birth at home, you're already home. No need to go anywhere. If you gave birth in an independent birth center, you'll be home within 24 hours after birth and typically closer to 6 to 8 hours after birth. If you gave birth in a hospital, you'll typically stay 1 or 2 nights, depending on when you checked in, gave birth, and whether you had a vaginal or cesarean delivery. If you had complications during labor or postpartum, you may stay longer. Prepare to be regularly interrupted. A lot of this immediate post-birth time is covered in our First 6 Hours blog, which I'm linking to here. Excuse me. So I'll be skipping to the part where you're bringing baby home and getting settled, not the part where you're still receiving care in whatever care setting. When you arrive home, you'll have a new baby, round-the-clock wakings, and some level of physical discomfort. Some level meaning that birth really varies. So discomforts range from feeling a bit sore and slow to you just had stitches in one of the most tender parts of your body, your perineum, or you had a major abdominal surgery. What this means is we need to set some clear priorities for the first week. My list of first week postpartum priorities: rest, food, water, and connection. Sleeping after baby. New parent rest is more than just sleep. As adults, when we think of rest, we think of sleep. While incredibly restorative, sleep is often elusive with a newborn. When considering rest this first week, think about everything you could do to make your body work less. So you want to set up your bedroom with essentials nearby, a table for food, water, tea, and baby supplies. You'll want to stay on one floor level as much as possible. You want to prioritize reclining rather than sitting upright. Take short walks as needed, bathroom, water refills, diaper changes, and getting up and down is actually very good for you. And then when you are resting, stay in bed or recline on the couch to help your pelvic floor recover. These muscles in your pelvic floor have supported your growing uterus throughout pregnancy, and they need time to heal whether you birth vaginally or by cesarean. We want to find ways to rest in the emotional body as well. Keep family and friend visits brief, sweet, and supportive during this first week. You'll find more about connection and incorporating support from family and friends in part 3 of this blog. So let's get into the practical tips for resting after birth. 1, sleep in shifts. One parent or helper watches baby while the other sleeps for a few hours, and then switch. Consider a caffeine break so that you can rest whenever the opportunity arises. When I'm postpartum dueling, a lot of my clients at first, instead of caffeinating a lot, actually choose to go off caffeine for a little while so that they're able to rest. This isn't forever, it's just a little while. Put a sign on your doorbell. Please don't ring or knock. Baby sleeping, which is especially important if you have dogs that bark. This just lets people who are dropping off packages or coming to visit know that someone might be sleeping. Babies actually sleep through doorbells, so it's more for parents, but it's customary in our culture to say, please don't ring or knock because the baby is sleeping. Create a door sign with baby's arrival details and visitor guidelines, like hand washing, keeping visits brief, inviting practical help around your house, or even if there are particular hours where someone shouldn't knock. Sometimes people will also put their phone number or their partner's phone number so that instead of knocking on the door, visitors can text and let them know that they're there. You want to establish rules of rest with your partner. What this means: are interruptions welcome or discouraged when you're resting? Should the house be quiet, or is normal noise okay? Should baby be kept away from the resting parent or nearby? When should help be requested with baby? Talking about these things ahead of time can allow whichever parent is resting to feel either like they have space or to trust that they'll be contacted if needed, and that just tends to help new parents settle in better. As a postpartum doula, I have noticed that breastfeeding parents often struggle to rest if they're worried their baby might be showing feeding cues while their partner tries to soothe them, right? And that they're worried that in order to protect the rest, the partner's going to let the baby go too long without eating. Some birthing parents really rest best with their baby out of earshot, while others can only relax with their baby nearby. Remember, after being carried in the womb for nearly 10 months, being outside the body is already a really significant change. For those who can't rest with baby nearby, scheduling a rest time when your partner or friend can take baby out for a stroll can be a really great way to get baby out of earshot, but still have them nearby. So remember, when it comes to early postpartum sleep and rest, postpartum rest is about finding moments to sleep, but it's also about using less energy for everything else you do as you recover from birth. I shared a few practical ways to set up your space and coordinate with your partner so that you can both rest and get time with the baby. And the balance of support and rest varies depending on the makeup of your household, your birth experience, and how you're feeding your baby. Do whatever serves you and your family best in the moment, and then change it as needed. Now that we've got a little bit of the postpartum rest planned, let's get to part 2, all about feeding hungry babies and parents.